Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Kenya with BK Trading Academy. And in today's video, we're going to talk about 3 habits to learn to effectively manage your active positions. When you are trading, it is so important to know how to manage your positions because you don't want to do all this planning and prepping. And then once you get into the trade, you quickly close it because you have a small amount of drawdown that you might be uncomfortable with. You need to learn how to effectively follow your plan, trust your psychology, and just execute. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Before we get started, make sure you smash that like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe if you haven't already to our channel, and you will continue to receive our important content once it's uploaded. Also, check out the description of this video. I encourage you to join our Telegram. Also, follow us on TradingView if you want updates to our ideas. Pay attention to how we trade and how our ideas are executed. And I have no doubt you will love the profitable strategies that we use and could find it helpful for your trading as well. So let's go ahead and hop right in and let's talk about this important subject.
Yeah, I know I got problems and I don't know where to go. I don't want to put the blame on it. So I put it on my
All right, so here's 3 tips to help you effectively manage your trade once you are in the trade. Tip number 1, you got to stay in touch with the market. You have to know what's going on at all times because sometimes when you mark levels, you're going to need to go in and adjust those levels because price is going to move up and down. Whether if you are a hardcore technical trader or a fundamental trader, you need to be able to go in and know how to adjust your plan and also those price levels when price is fluctuating around certain areas. So don't forget to always pay attention to potential game changers that might invalidate or at least divert how you expect the trade to play out because you'll need to go in and make those necessary changes. So let me show you a quick example and then we'll move on to tip 2. So here's an example on US 30. We obviously have an uptrend on the daily, and you can see that price is forming a resistance at 35.53 zone. And currently we have a rejective resistance. This is a really strong supply area where if we go out to the weekly, you can see the market has rejected these highs multiple times in the past. So we know we are on an impulse correction, impulse phase on the weekly, and we are due for a correction on the lower time frame. So considering that, this market is now starting to pull back. But let's say, for example, we entered a short on this position because we felt this was an area where the market could go and potentially bounce from. But then we're in the trade, let's say 24 hours later, and the market has pushed higher. So in this case, we want to go in and just move that zone up a little bit higher so that we know this is where the market is currently rejecting. And if we're already in the trade, then maybe we will signal to ourselves that if the market continues to come back and reject this level, since we know it's a rejective high, then maybe we will consider a trade opportunity from this area. For example, if we were to get a double top on the lower time frame. So if I move down to the 4-hour, let's say that the price is dropping, but it comes back up to retest and continues to reject that area, we could enter another position and then take that to our target support. Okay. So you always want to be aware of what the market is doing. Make sure that you're always checking for high impact news, that you know what news is ahead, news that might affect your trade. Now, another question you might have is, should you exit your positions when there's high impact news? Now, there are only certain news that I care about. I care about NFP, FOMC, PPI, and CPI. Those are movers that I have found that move the market dramatically for the type of pairs that I trade or assets that I trade. So preferably, I have a certain way that I like to trade them. I either like to have my positions closed and be ready to trade the news when it happens, or if I'm swing trading and I'm trading from the absolute best levels, I don't really worry about news affecting my trade because historically, it's proven to me that the way that I trade, it's in my favor in terms of how I execute. So over time, you'll find your way. I feel that if you're not comfortable managing a trade during high impact news, or if any little bit of drawdown scares you, close your trades before that high impact report and trade when there's no news that's impacting you. All right. So tip number 2 is be flexible with your trading plan. Now, follow your trading plan, but you need to be a little bit flexible. Now, being flexible doesn't mean being totally spontaneous and not following your plan. That's not what I'm telling you guys to do. I don't want you just blindly going into the market and having this well-crafted plan, but then you ignore it. It just means that you're willing to make adjustments based on factors that might be impacting your trade. So for example, Being flexible requires you to continuously check the validity of your trade. Do those conditions still apply? Do you need to tweak or adjust some things? Also, keep in mind that the longer you have a trade open, the more it's exposed to news events and other economic factors. So you got to plan for that as well. Okay. Being flexible also means asking those questions. How long did you plan to be in the trade? Has it played out yet? And looking at factors of why it may not have played out. Is it that just volume is slow a particular day during the week, like a Monday where we're just coming back from the weekend and the market is resetting itself? Is that pair just a very slow pair and you need to have patience with it? These type of things will help you learn how to manage your trade, how to trust your plan, knowing when to change some things in order to help you find more profitable opportunities. I'll give you another example. Let's say if I shorted a pair and all of a sudden I noticed after a few hours it starts to range, and my plan was to only trade that particular pair for an intraday setup. Maybe I'm in some small profit, but now it's ranging, it didn't hit my target, and now we're at the close of the business day. Should I close the trade or should I stay in it overnight? Well, if you stay in it overnight, you're now transitioning into a swing trade. So that may be going against your trading plan. So what I mean by being flexible is doing simply that. When conditions change or they don't play out exactly how you intended it to, and it doesn't follow the validity of your trade, close the trade and move on. If it's a small profit, move on. If it's a small loss, then it's best to close the trade and just move on, especially if you see signs that it could go either way. If it moves on to go your target direction, who cares? There's tons of opportunities in the market and you don't want to have FOMO. You want to be disciplined. And that's what's going to help you be disciplined, is following those rules, but also knowing how to be flexible and know when you need to make those changes based on what you're seeing with the price action. All right, this last tip is really, really important. And this is knowing when to update your position sizes. Okay, remember, your goal every time you open a trade is to minimize your risk. That is what you want to do. You want to get really good and knowing how to minimize your risk. So if one or two factors in your trading plan don't go your way, but you think the idea is still valid, what I recommend is to cut back on your position size. If you're not feeling fully confident that it's going to go on to hit your target, then you want to minimize your risk in that type of setup. Okay. If you're feeling fully confident, then keep it, let it do its thing. But anytime you start to question it, and maybe you just haven't gotten to the area where you trust yourself yet, this is why journaling is so important. Cut back on the position size. Don't go all out trying to make money. Don't put your focus on money. You have to make protecting your capital your number one absolute goal. Okay, now let's say if you're in the trade and it turns out to be better than what you expected. How do you manage your position then? One of the things that I always love to do is take partial profit, or I love paying myself during high volatility. So for example, let's say if I'm in a trade for Euro AUD and I know that that pair is most volatile during a particular time and I'm in really good profit, I'm up 60 pips or 70 pips, but it hasn't quite reached my final target. Do I close the trade? I know sometimes you might be in a trade and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in really good profit. I don't know if I should close this trade or just let it hit TP. You probably close your trades prematurely too soon. So you're learning yourself and you're finding yourself, and we all go through that. What I like to do is use multiple positions, widen my stop loss, lower my position size so that I can have multiple opportunities to pay myself. That way I can leave a few trades and let it run to target, but I can also either take partial profit, I can close a few positions as price is on the way to my final target. And that way I'm not in a trade and not making any money at all. So those are the tips that I have for you. I hope that you find them helpful. Keep in mind these 3 simple tips when you're in the markets so that you don't waste your well thought out trading plan. And I promise, I know it will help you so much. If you are a new or struggling trader, take a look at the description of the video, check out the Academy and all that we have to offer. We have amazing, profitable strategies that so many of our students love. We have an awesome community that I know you would love to grow with, and you'll always have our hands-on guidance. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this content helpful. Don't forget to smash that like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next training. Thanks for watching.
I know something's got to change. When I was lonely,